The college football experience, Louisiana Ragin Cajuns 2023 season preview episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Networks, brought to you by Circa Sports. Yes, Circa Sports is back with their Circa Survivor and Circa Millions contest. $14 million are up for grabs. Get all the details at circasports.com. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride.
Hey, everybody. Joe Theismann here. You're listening to SGPN. So do this. Let it ride.
Yes, yes, yes. Woo! Welcome to the college football experience. Louisiana Ragin Cajuns 2023 season preview episode. I'm excited to talk about let's be honest, this is like a top 5 name, Ragin Cajuns. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the offense, the defense, the special teams, the transfer portal, and every game on the schedule. We're going to tell you whether you should go with the over, the under, and the future of the program. But before we do that, first, let me just tell you, perhaps you're wondering who's yelling at you right now. My name is Colby Swigga Database Dan, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I'm probably drinking too much and celebrating too much and not sleeping. Would have killed a normal man, but no, that's gone. The medical advice I got from that was like being hit by lightning. Pretend it never happened and get on with your life.
Yes, that's the way last year. Look, it's not even a terrible year last year, but it's just sometimes you got to just pretend it never happened. You were favored. I was actually looking back a year ago, coaches poll, Louisiana was favored to play for the Sun Belt Championship. Didn't happen. And Mike Devereaux, the old Baltimore Oriole, Michael Desormeaux, former Ragin Cajun himself. I am joined by my co-host. Give it up for former JMU. No. I'm sorry. Jeez. I'm a machine right now. Just cranking out 133 episodes. Former, Maryland Eastern Shore guy.
George Mason Patriot. How about that?
There you go. Give it up for the DFS god himself. The rooftop IPA drinking, homebrew making, tobacco road living, the free like giving, farmer. Earn the basketball league MVP. Give it up for NC Nick in the place to be.
There we go.
Tough, man.
Struggling with that intro.
Muscle memory, man. But this is the Ragin Cajuns, buddy. And look, I mean, this is a team from 2019 to 2021 that was 34-5, and just a 6-7 season a year ago as they lost to the Houston Cougars in the Independence Bowl. I mean, what? I know it's his first year here, but Michael Desormeaux, your opinion, buddy.
Well, first and foremost, those that don't know, I love me some Sun Belt football, so I'm very happy to be on here talking about the Ragin Cajuns. And yeah, they had won double-digit wins 3 years in a row, 13, 10, and 11. So 6 wins is not what they're accustomed to in Lafayette. Now, it's a first year for a head coach, and they lost a lot, including like a quarterback in Levi Lewis and, a good chunk of that roster. So I think they expected some regression. And I think on top of that, I think the Sun Belt West was just so much better last year, where you're seeing teams like South Alabama come up, Troy come up, Southern Miss come up. So not only was Louisiana regressing some, but the rest of the Sun Belt West was coming up, or at least those 3 teams were. So it was a perfect storm for a very mediocre year.
Yeah, and I think that's some of the thing though, even about Billy Napier, and I'm sure they missed Billy Napier after that first season, but the Sun Belt West was really, really down for a few years there, and you wonder if were they that good, or were they just benefiting off of the fact that everyone was down? Regardless,
perhaps some of both, right?
Well, we're in this spot where a year from now, the group of five is going to get an automatic bid. All right. To the 12-team playoff. There's talk that San Diego State and SMU might not even be in the mix. So you got to wonder, if you looked at recency, Louisiana's been bowling I feel like 5 straight years. Maybe even more. Where would you put them in the pecking order as potentially, a team that could be hosting their own, or hosting or playing in the CFP if they get if they were to have a couple of those seasons back with Napier again?
Well, I don't know. I mean, if they can get back to where they were, then I think they're right there, because I think the Sun Belt in general has came up as a conference, and now might not be on the level of the Mountain West or the American, but it's not too far behind. And I still say it's much better than the MAC or Conference USA.
I actually think it's better than the American. I think the Mountain West would be the interesting one.
Yeah, I mean, with the big hits that the American took with UCF and Cincinnati and Houston, maybe they're more on par with the American now. So yeah, I think the winner of the Sun Belt will have a potential. I mean, they could be the one that gets into the playoffs. So now more than ever, you need to start, reaching the heights that you've never had before. It seems like Louisiana hit those heights 2 or 3 years ago. That's why it's only year 2 for Desormeaux, but I think it's a big year.
I do too. Definitely, man. And we're going to talk all about it. We're going to talk, like I said, offense, defense, special teams, transfer portal. But before we do that, I want to tell you that the Louisiana Ragin Cajuns 2023 season preview episode is brought to you by Circa Sports. Circa Millions and Circa Survivor. They're back, and $14 million in guaranteed prizes are up for grabs. Circa Millions. Well, look, you pick 5 NFL picks, ATS against the spread each and every week. Best record takes all, and when it's all said and done, and Circuit Survivor, just pick a different moneyline winner each and every week. You can enter in Vegas, play from anywhere. Sports Gambling Podcast, the SGPN crew will be out there last weekend in August. So go to circusports.com for all the details. Once again, circusports.com. What would you do with $14 million? All right. Maybe buy out Desormeaux's contract. No, I'm joking. I like Desormeaux. He's a Ragin Cajun himself. All right. So anyway, check out circusports.com for all those details. All right. We are back on the college football experience. Louisiana Ragin Cajuns 2023 season preview. Where do you put the name Ragin Cajuns as FBS? It's gotta be.
It's top 5, man. If not number 1, the Ragin Cajuns. I mean, it rhymes. It's very local and fitting. It's a great nickname for sure.
You've been a fan of the Ragin Cajuns since they had Jake Delhomme. Remember him?
Yeah. Then he went on to the Carolina Panthers. Obviously, I was a fan of him in the NFL too. So they've been producing players for a long time. I mean, they're in Louisiana, where they take college football very seriously. A lot of local talent. Can Desormeaux bring in that talent? That's a big question, especially once we talk about the recruiting rankings and the portal.
Yeah, and develop that talent, because even if you're getting the leftovers from LSU, there's still some very good players. As you
Billy Napier crushed it in recruiting. That's one of the reasons why he was so attractive for Florida. Louisiana 3 years in a row had the top recruiting class in the Sun Belt, 2019 to 2021. Since he left in Desormeaux's first year, the recruiting in the Sun Belt 10th in the league. Last year, 6th in the league. 2024, which we're very early on in that cycle, but so right now they're last. They've only inked 1 3-star guy. And look, so a lot of time to bolster that, but compare it to App State, who Louisiana used to beat App State on a regular basis in that Sun Belt championship. App State already has 22 commits and 9 3-stars for next year. So recruiting has taken a hit. So where are they going to get the talent from?
And Ed Orgeron's unemployed. So I mean, you have one of your own out there in the universe. I
don't want to push Desormeaux out the door, but man, that would be at least entertaining.
Yes, I know, and I like Desormeaux as well. Look, if he's listening to this, he's like, "These guys are firing me already. What the fuck?
I've been there 1 year. Come on,
I made a bowl game my first year." Let's talk about the offense. 5 returning starters on the offense. That not necessary. Actually, before we do that, let's talk portal, because the transfer portal is such a huge deal in 2023. If you're not Army, Navy, Air Force, or Clemson, and maybe we should add Louisiana to that list. No, they lost some guys. But let me key in on what they lost. Wide receiver Dante Fleming goes to Tulane. Ouch. That's another thing. When you're sitting there and you see the success of Tulane, you're like, that was us a couple years ago.
Right.
You know, you were number 2 in the state. Now you're number 3 in the state. You know, and then who knows what Sonny Cumbie and Bowden can do at the other school. So, but Fleming goes to Tulane. That one hurts. Quarterback Hunter Herring's in the portal. Wide receiver Errol Rogers heads out to the Flamin' Liberty. Then you get quarterback Zy McDonald going to Jackson State. And this one was huge. Trey Amos going to the Alabama Crimson Tide, where he's like penciled in to be high. He's high up on that depth chart. He might even be starting. Then you also lose cornerback Cameron Pettisclo.
I was waiting for you to try to pronounce this one. I don't know, man.
Yeah. Pettisclo. He's now at Tulane as well. Tulane coming in, getting some of that talent.
Hey, those 2 DBs were starters. Those are major hits to this Ragin' Cajun defense.
And then, so they only landed one fucking guy.
One guy.
From good old wide or defensive end, Trey Fight from SMU coming in. I mean,
Desormeaux's a young guy. He should be more hip to the whole transfer portal. Like I said, he's not the recruiting of high school players has gone down, and at the same time, it doesn't look like they're giving the portal any love either. So something's got to give here.
You know, and I'll say this 24/7. We got our data from there. They have not been great at tracking this year, in my opinion.
I agree. That's true.
So I'm looking on the team's website, and I do see, like, okay, take for example. Well, let's talk about the offense, because I'll break down, and I'm curious if it's a transfer from this year or years past. So I might just blame the website, because I want to say they lost the portal. If that's what it really was, they've lost the portal. But
yeah,
I don't know that that's the case here, because you look and see, obviously that they lost their starting quarterback from a season ago, who headed out to Chandler Rogers, headed out to North Texas. But
that's ULM, buddy.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Jeez.
Oh man, bad review loading.
Dude, what's going on with me today? I didn't eat my fucking vegetables or something.
Now, Ben Wooldridge, I think, is their best quarterback, and he did get hurt last year. I think he tore his ACL, if I'm not mistaken. Their quarterback situation last year, after losing Levi Lewis, was really up in the air. I think Chandler Fields started the first 5 or 6 games, but they both got snaps, Wooldridge and Fields. Wooldridge got hurt. Fields came in towards the end of the year. He got hurt. Both didn't play spring ball. Another guy, Zion Chris, played. He started spring ball. So the question is, I think Wooldridge is their best guy. He kind of took over the job before he got hurt. But the question is, will he be ready come week 1? I think he's very questionable right now. So they need Wooldridge in there. I think he's the best guy. They need him healthy for this offense to really click. Yeah,
and I apologize for thinking Chandler Rogers. Look, we're doing the ULM
Chandler
preview.
Fields. I mean, it's 2 quarterbacks with the name Chandler in Louisiana. Come on.
One of them went to North Texas. The other one's in Lafayette. He's a Ragin' Cajun. I'm a fucking idiot. Orlando Wooldridge's son, Ben Wooldridge, is getting it done, and they have Chandler Fields as well. And the running back spot has been very good for them. Remember, they had Montreal Johnson, who's now at Florida. They've had studs, I feel like, at the running back spot for like 5, 6, 7 years now. I'm seeing it as Dre'Lyn Washington penciled in to be the starter, but this is the most inexperienced, I would say, the running back room has been in a while.
Well, right? Yeah. So their leading rusher last year, Chris Smith, he left early to go pro. I mean, he was a good college running back, but I'm pretty sure he didn't get drafted. So it's going to hurt losing Smith. Yeah. So they have Washington and Terrence Williams. Terrence Williams only averaged 3.6 yards a carry last year. Washington had a much better average at 5.5. Only 3 combined touchdowns, though. I mean, in general, Louisiana only ran for 10 rushing touchdowns last year, which is certainly a problem. I would say right now this running back room looks below average.
Yeah, and it's certainly a problem too because you play Texas State and ULM, which is still the easier side of the conference. But the running back room seems to be a little bit of a question mark going with the sophomore Dre'Lyn Washington from what I'm seeing. Peter LeBlanc is back. That's good news.
I feel like he's been there forever.
Yeah. We played him in DFS. I feel like 7 years ago. He's on the Stetson Bennett plan. Jacob Bernard. They only have one returning starter at the wide receiver position in Peter LeBlanc, but he has been there forever. They're penciling in Jacob Bernard Jr. and Lance. How do I pronounce this one? Legendre.
Yeah, Legendre? The guy who he was a quarterback. They moved him to receiver last year.
So he's penciled in to be a starter this year, from what I see. Obviously, all this can change in August. Man, it's not a lot to love in the skill position areas right now. But tight end Neal Johnson's back,
and you know what? He was there. He had 25 for 296 and 2 touchdowns last year. He has the most catches returning. Yeah, so losing Michael Jefferson, who had over 800 yards and 7 touchdowns, he was their alpha receiver last year. He graduates, and then you mentioned some of those losses in the portal, which could really sting here. So again, you're looking at the receiver group, and you're saying, I mean, unless one of these guys emerges who's kind of off the radar right now, I would say again this looks like a below average group.
Yeah, the skill positions really have me a little bit concerned, but the offensive line I think could be better. I see 55 career starts back as they bring back basically 3 of 5, breaking in a new center in Landon Burton, and also a right tackle in Quentin Williams penciled in to be the starter. But having the 55 starts back, better than a lot of other teams, I'll say.
I think this unit is the best unit on their offense. So last year they had to replace 4 starters. I mentioned, they had to replace a lot, after Napier left, including Levi Lewis, but also 4 offensive linemen. So maybe that's why their rushing game suffered a season ago. But I think, the offensive line should be better this year, and it'll help make those average running backs and receivers look better.
So let me ask you this: last year they were 77th in scoring offense, 75th in rush offense, 78th in pass offense, and 89th in total offense. Will this unit be improved in 23 as it was to 22, NC Nick?
I don't have high hopes. It's good that I think the offensive line is going to be better, but I think they're severely missing playmakers in the backfield and out wide. And you still have the question mark at quarterback with Wooldridge's health. And I mean, he's their best guy, but let's face it wasn't like he was slinging the ball around like, I don't know. Levi Lewis he wasn't like he wasn't passing the ball that much, but he was a very solid quarterback for a long time. So Wooldridge, he needs to play better. He needs to improve from year over year, and he needs to be healthy, which is a question mark. So no, I don't see them improving upon those offensive stats too much.
Well, you do got to wonder. Texas State, obviously, brand new head coach. Terry Bowden in year 3 at ULM. Southern Miss and Will Hall seem to be getting better and better. Troy and South Alabama look like they're going to be dominant again. So you got to wonder, if they regress, where could they find themselves in the Sun Belt West? Who knows? Defensively, they were the 36th best scoring defense a season ago. So the defense still held their own there. 50th in rush defense, 55th in pass defense. This was a top 50 defense. Total defense charting at 49th. I got to say that's pretty impressive. Despite being 6-7, they got only 3 starters coming back on the defensive side of the ball though. So red flags everywhere.
In general, so I mean, so not only on defense are they not bringing a whole lot back, but in general, they're just the 108th team in the country in returning experience.
Now the defensive line, you are bringing back Sonny Hazard at the nose tackle spot, and Jordan Lawson at the DN spot. So you're bringing back 2 of 3. They run a 3-3-5, and Okay, you got that going. Now, linebacker wise, you're bringing back one guy in KC Osai, and that's your whole team. Breaking in a brand new secondary. I am concerned on the defensive side of the ball just because of that. They didn't go out in the portal, so they're trusting their culture here for a team that's, okay. Maybe you can tell me I kind of like the fact they're bringing back 2 of 3 on the D line. Other than that, a lot of question marks in the linebacking core, a lot of question marks in the secondary, or at least with inexperience. What do you make of the defense?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're optimistic, if you're a Ragin' Cajun fan and you're saying that both lines of scrimmage will be better than last year or as good as last year. So other than that, though, yeah, I mean, it's hard to look at this roster and come away too impressed. I think they should have been much more active in the portal. Apparently he's relying on upperclassmen that were recruited by Napier, those ones that haven't left early, like running back Chris Smith, or those ones that haven't transferred out, like those 2 DBs going to Bama and Tulane. So roster wise, it's hard to look at it and come away too impressed.
All right. Well, look, we're going to talk about the schedule and go game by game on the schedule with the Ragin' Cajuns in 2023. But before we do that, I want to tell the fine people that the College Football Experience Louisiana Ragin' Cajuns season preview episode is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, Best Ball Mania is here, and Underdog Fantasy is giving away $15 million in prizes. Underdog Pick'em is a great way to get down on some of your favorite MLB and NFL season player props as well. And folks, when college football comes around, especially looking at you, Sunbelt fans, Louisiana Ragin' Cajun fans, you play a lot of those Wednesday, Thursday games. They offer awesome props on that, player props. You'll be able to get, hypothetically here though, you'd be able to say, okay, well, will your starting quarterback throw for over 200 yards, depending on who they go with.
Will Peter LeBlanc have over 3.5 catches?
Yes.
I'm on the over.
There you go. You're catering to your audience. So check it out. We'll be talking about, we've been with Underdog for a few years, so we'll be talking about that and more. There's so many ways to win over on Underdog, and Underdog's available in so many different states. Head on over to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use that promo code SGPN for 100% deposit bonus up to $100. Once again, that's UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code SGPN. All right, we are back on the College Football Experience. Hopefully you're watching this on YouTube, youtube.com/the College Experience. Remember, folks, we host the College Football Experience. That's the main podcast there, but we also host the FCS College Football Experience. So if you love some FCS, check out that show as well. We also host the College Basketball Experience and College Baseball Experience, and we now have the Big 12 Experience, and we come together as one on YouTube, youtube.com/the College Experience. Subscribe, tell a friend. But if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see this graphic here. Shout out to Cam Kerr, our graphics guy. 6.5 wins is what they're calling for. Wait, they were 6-7 a year ago. Bowl game don't count. So they're calling for, Vegas is saying they're a better team this year. They're a better team in year 2 of Michael Desormeaux. Let's get into it. Well, first thought, what's your first thought when you see that?
I think most people, and maybe myself included, we've held Louisiana to a very high standard the last, at least 5 years or so. So off the bat, it seems a little low, especially with, yes, we mentioned the Sun Belt West is much better than years past, but there's still like 3 or 4 like really winnable games here. So at first I was thinking that it's probably pretty close to where it should be. But maybe an over can hit year 2 in the system, so that was kind of my initial reaction. Like it was probably right where it should be, but maybe leaned over.
My first thought was under. That was my first thought, but that's without going into the schedule. And look, you go back from a season ago, they had a 4-point loss to ULM, a 3-point loss to South Alabama, who was really good, 6-point loss to Troy, 7-point loss to the Houston Cougars. So this team was not far off from being a lot better. So
they were in every game other than Florida State, and that Southern Miss game got away from them too. But especially with some of those injuries at quarterback and everything. This Louisiana team last year 6-7, but the ball bounces a couple different ways, and maybe they're 8-5 or something.
Yeah. So let's get into it. Saturday, September 2nd, Northwestern. They don't got Pat Fitzgerald at Northwestern State either. The Demons are coming into Cajun Field to take on Lafayette here. The Demons, they lost their best offensive player to the Colorado Buffaloes, and they were a 4-7 team a year ago. This one smells like a blowout to me. I will take Lafayette to get it done. How about you, NC Nick?
Yeah, definitely. They start year 2 off with a victory.
Now they head to Norfolk, Virginia to take on the Old Dominion Monarchs at SB Ballard Stadium. And I'm not very high on ODU. They're another one that like seems, remember their offense coordinator quit like a week before the season last year. Their whole team, I feel like, transferred out. Ollie Jennings going to Virginia Tech, a couple of those defensive linemen to the Buffs. I don't know. I just don't have a great feeling on ODU. So I will take Louisiana to go 2-0. How about yourself?
Yeah, I mentioned Louisiana is 108th in the country in returning experience. Well, ODU is 130th out of 133. So I do like Louisiana here. Something doesn't smell right at ODU. I think Ricky Ronnie, he's definitely on the hot seat. He'll probably get fired, sooner than Desormeaux if both are headed towards that direction, which I'm not saying they are. So, I think Louisiana starts off the season with a nice 2-0 record here. They go on the road and get a Sun Belt win.
Now back-to-back away, and you go to Penetrope Stadium in Birmingham, Alabama. This is the complete mystery game to me. Trent Dilfer was hired by UAB, and I mean, he said some great clips this offseason, some great audio clips for the media. But I got no fucking idea. He's never been a offensive coordinator at college football. He's never been like this. Anything. Is a true.
He's never been anything other than a quarterback in college football, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is a huge mystery game to me because I know UAB's had some talent.
Sure.
But I mean, I gotta lean Louisiana, I think, just because of the experience, but not by much.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of games on this schedule where it's really gonna, to come down to it whether it's going to go over or under on the season. At UAB, the second game of a back-to-back road trip, I'm actually leaning Blazers. I think they get this one.
I do think UAB is probably the more talented team. All right, talk. Okay, I'll meet you there. I'll meet you there because I don't want to have them starting out 4-0 because I'm going to take them to beat the Buffalo Bulls the very next week.
Yes, last year a MAC school came into Lafayette. That was Eastern Michigan, and Louisiana beat them 49-21. Don't underestimate the heat and humidity in September in Louisiana for these teams coming down from the north. I think they beat Buffalo.
So 3-1. We both got them at 3-1, and now they head to Minneapolis to row the boat. Minnesota's an interesting team. Like if I'm Louisiana, I'm pretty happy getting them in September because they lost Muhammad Ibrahim, they lost Tanner Morgan, they've lost a lot of guys. Altman Bell, I think, is going too, or maybe he's back. I'm not sure because he got injured. He might have got the medical red shirt. But Minnesota, they're a weird team. They almost lost to Miami, Ohio. They lost to Bowling Green, I think it was 2 years ago, who was a terrible Bowling Green team.
Big Ten West teams are known to lose to G5 schools for sure.
Yeah, and as much as I'll take Minnesota here, I kind of expect if Louisiana can play a game, I think this is still a winnable game. I think it's still a winnable game.
Yeah, especially with the question marks on Minnesota's offense. I don't think they're blowing anybody out. At the same time, I'm still taking the Gophers to win it.
So 3-2 after the month of September for both of us, and then you gotta love this. I mean, it's October 7th, so I still think you're happy to get this game. Texas State, who's breaking in a brand new head coach in the Sun Belt. So I mean, what's my guy's name? Spavital out at in San Marcos as he heads to Cal Berkeley, I believe now. And GJ Kinney is coming in after being at Incarnate Word. I still think you like getting them where you get them early in the year as opposed to late in the year.
Yeah, I think we both agreed that I think that hire was a good hire. I think he could do good things there, but it's going to take him a little bit of time in San Marcos. And the fact that this game is at home, the fact that Louisiana is the overall series 10-0. One of those games was forfeited, but come on. I mean, I'm still counting it. So 10-0 and all by double digits. And last year they won 41-13 in San Marcos. So I'm going to chalk this one up for a home win for Louisiana.
All right, so that puts us at what?
5-2.
5-2. Wow. 5-2. The win total 6.5, folks, and they get a bye week, and then they host Georgia State. And I want to say we did the Georgia State preview. I don't know if they've ever won in Lafayette. I think we did I think when we were doing the Georgia State preview, but I called for Georgia State to get the dub. So I got to stay true to my word, even though I'm a bit, shook a little bit on that stat, but give me Georgia State to get it done. This game is huge. Georgia State needs it, obviously. Talk about a coach on the hot seat, and Sean Elliott's him. I'm gonna roll with you. I'm gonna say Georgia State pulls it out, which I don't know. Maybe we're wrong because Louisiana is still pretty good at home, but I'm gonna have them dropping it and falling to 5-3. 5-3, and now they head to John Hancock Whitney Stadium. All right, to take on the Jaguars of South Alabama. This was a close game a year ago. Probably could be a close game again, but I'm going to take South Alabama here because they're at home. What are you doing here, NC Nick? Yeah, I mean, it certainly seems like South Alabama's trajectory is upward, and you could argue Louisiana's perhaps is downward. I'm taking the Jaguars. So it puts us at 5-4 for the Ragin' Cajuns, back-to-back away as they head to Centennial Bank Stadium in Jonesboro. Look, this is a sneaky game because it's on the back-to-back away front, but I just think Lafayette's better. I'm not high on Arkansas State's roster this year. I know Jones has been recruiting well there. Until I see it on the field, give me Louisiana to get to their 6th win and bowl eligibility on November 4th. How about you, NC Nick? Yeah, I mean, so if you're looking at the schedule as a whole, the thing you don't like is there's 2 sets of back-to-back games. The thing you do like is from the East, they're getting Old Dominion and Georgia State, which is pretty sweet. With that said, I have them dropping this game as well too. I have them on a little bit of a 3-game slide here. Going on the road is never easy in conference play, and I'm not sold on the roster. So give me Arkansas State. So 5-5 for you, 6-4 for me. Now you got a Thursday night. Love these weekday games as they host the Southern Miss Golden Eagles and Frank Gore Jr. I'm kind of high on Southern Miss this year. I think this program is getting better and better. So I got Southern Miss coming in to, as long as they, well, actually, fuck it. Even if Gore's playing quarterback again, I will take Southern Miss to get it done on the road here. What are you doing? I'm with you. I agree. My only concern here is that I had them now losing two home games in a row, and Louisiana is good at home. So I had them losing to Georgia State and Southern Miss. They could win one of those, but for now, I'm going to chalk up both as a loss, and for me, that moves them to 5-7. I'm sorry, no, 5-5. Yeah, 5-5 for me. 6-4, and then they head to the vet, take on veteran Memorial Stadium in Troy, Alabama, to take on the Trojans. They're not winning this one either, so I got them moving to 6-5. The other thing you don't like about their schedule is that if there's the 2 best teams in the West are probably South Alabama and Troy, and they get both of them on the road. The same thing I said for the South Alabama game applies for the Troy game. Give me the Trojans. And now you get revenge, though. Final game of the season. This is huge for you to make a bowl, and for me, it's to hit the over. You're on the under. You've already just said, give me the under. Well, I got them beating Terry Bowden and the Warhawks, and I think they might have a new head coach too. So I got them at 7-5. Give me the over on the Ragin' Cajuns. Look, coming into it, I thought I was going to be on the under. I actually think I would not be surprised if they even got to 8 with that mystery UAB game. All right. Yeah. And so I have them beating ULM also to get to 6-6 in a bowl. And like the schedule this year, you have to love. I don't love the roster. I don't love the coach's philosophy of not going into the portal to bolster your roster. So I have question marks about the program, but I almost think that 6-6, even though I have them at that record, that's almost, their floor. They could definitely beat somebody by the likes of Georgia State or Arkansas State, or like I said, they're good at home. They could knock off Southern Miss at home or something. So I want to still go 6-6. I'm going to go under, but I certainly don't love it because this schedule's pretty nice. Sunbelt specialist, he's going under. college football specialist is going over. I know we're both college football specialists, but hey, look, folks, he's on the under. I'm on the over. Look, I got a chance to sit down with one Michael Barker, AKA College Football Campus Tour. If you don't know who this guy is on Twitter, he's College Football Campus Tour. And look, his page is fantastic. If you're not following it, you should check it out. You're going to hear me talk more about that. But I got a chance to sit down with him. Here's that interview on his experiences down to Lafayette, Louisiana, to Cajun Field. So with no further ado, here we go. It's on the College Football Experience. Louisiana Ragin Cajuns, Louisiana Lafayette Ragin Cajuns 2023 season preview episode is none other than Michael Barker, aka College Football Campus Tour. You can give him a follow on Twitter at CFB Campus Tour. And guess what? I highly recommend it because the guy's been to every single college football stadium in the FBS, and he's been to most the FCS as well. How you doing, Michael? And appreciate you hopping on the show to talk a little Ragin Cajun football.
I'm happy to be here. You know, the Sun Belt is my wheelhouse. They play a bunch of weeknight Fun Belt games. Been to Cajun Field many times, so looking forward to talking about Cajun Field.
Yeah, and look, this a year ago, we released, me, NC Nick, Patty C, released our rankings of what we thought were the best home field environments in every conference, but the Sun Belt. We got some static on where we had Louisiana ranked, which I think we had it like in the middle or somewhere. I know we had like Georgia Southern and App, I think, in Southern Miss ahead of them, but you know, I was impressed by the hate. Look, I welcome shit talk. All right. I enjoy it. Especially love the 1-star reviews way more than the 5-star reviews, to tell you the truth. And, you know, I respected how many people were coming at me saying, I haven't been to Cajun Field, which is true. And that, you know, the fan experience is different there and we're disrespecting them. That is impressive to me. Tell me about the history of this stadium and your experiences with perhaps some of these same fans.
Yeah, so Sunbelt Twitter, I'm assuming what you're talking about, it's very ferocious to outsiders, but they will come to battle for each other. They like the way the conference has been constructed, the new teams that are added, you know, Marshall, Southern Miss, they just fit in really well. So Louisiana has been very good the last couple of years. You know, you saw Napier going to Florida, capitalizing off winning, but Cajun Field was opened in 1971 with 26,000 seat capacity. Currently, it's 41,000 seats. It's the largest stadium in the Sun Belt. It's the first stadium to be referred to as the Swamp. It's actually below sea level, and it was named the Swamp in 1988. And some guy named Spurrier stole it in Gainesville in 1991 and claimed it there. But it's below sea level. There's a sophisticated drainage system underneath the stadium to keep it dry and playable. And there is a major renovation scheduled for after the 2023 season. They got a donation from Our Lady of Lourdes. It's a medical center out there, and that's what the name of the stadium is going to be changed to. But they're going to redo the press box, upgrade it, reduce a little bit of seating, but put some premium sections in there. And then as far as environment, what I really like about Cajun Field is they have this grassy hill in one of the end zones, and you get kids, you know, taking rides down the grass on cardboard through the game, people sitting on a blanket. It's a really cool atmosphere where you can stay in your seat, you can move around and enjoy the atmosphere. And if it's a good game, there's a lot of electricity in the crowd as well.
Yeah, I mean, I got that from the Twitter pushback, but that gets me. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go check out a game there. Tell me, which games did you go to?
So I've been to 3 games at Cajun Field. The Sun Belt, I've been to 4 games at Coastal, 4 games at App, 3 games at Arkansas State. So when you get these ones on Tuesday and Wednesday, they're the only game in town. So you make repeat visits, and I really enjoy going there. So 2019, 2021, and 2022, the game that sticks out the most was the 2021 game against App State. And they blew them out 41-13. They outgained them 455-211. And later that year, they hosted App in the SEC or the SBC championship game back in Lafayette, and they beat them there too. So, you know, App has always been the bully on the block, And that was a year that they beat them twice and solidified themselves. And we've seen what they've done. They've been one of the top teams in the SBC. And they do have a game, I want to say November 10th against Southern Miss on a Thursday. So there's another opportunity to go back to Cajun Field.
There we go, man. I got to get there at some point, man. I appreciate you hopping on the show and talking a little Ragin' Cajun ball, Michael. And folks, give him a follow on Twitter at CFB Campus Tour. Like I said, he goes to 5, 6, 7 games a week. He documents it all, and it's a must follow. Look, it's great in the college football season because you see where he's going. Like one night he'll be in Lafayette for a Ragin' Cajun game, and the next night he'll be in a Hawaii game. It's just absolutely fantastic to see where he's at, but also in the off season, stuff like that. It's just a must follow because he's got this, he'll show the photos, the history of the game, all this great stuff. It's very educational for any college football nut. So get on over there, give him a follow. Michael, I appreciate you hopping on the show, brother.
Thank you for having me, Colby, and shout out to a couple of Louisiana accounts, Ragin Review and Fifth Quarter Louisiana. Great follows on Twitter, and I appreciate you having me as always.
There we go, folks. Go check out those accounts as well. And you're welcome here anytime, Michael. Take care, brother.
I'll see you next time, Colby.
Take care. Michael Barker, Cajun Field. Look, they gave me a hard time last year, and here I am fucking up the beginning of the show with the wrong roster. All right.
Did you do that on purpose?
Look, so it's fun to do a subtle fuck you here and there in life. No, but I got to get there. I want to get to the stadium, man. I really do, because it looks cool. I've heard nothing but good things. So
I told you before, I love the Sun Belt, and I've been to a bunch of Sun Belt games, but it's the ones that have been close to me, like App and Coastal. I do need to branch out and go to some of the ones a little bit further away. But yeah, I mean, we love Sun Belt football. We love the atmospheres, and just like he said, I mean, they're putting together a conference of teams, of universities that have great atmospheres, great followings, and it's just a ton of fun, man.
Yeah, they get it. They get what college football is in this day and age, where I feel like you're going to see UCLA in the Big Ten, and God knows what. Maybe Hawaii's next. And
dude, small town or like mid-sized town, college football is awesome.
Yeah,
I don't need to go to Los Angeles for college football. I'd rather go to Hattiesburg. I'd rather go to Lafayette.
100%, man. 100%. I'm in Los Angeles. Look, I go to the Rose Bowl. It's like it's like that Florida State game where the guy was reading the novel. All right, and they're down 59-0 to Clemson. Look, I want to go feel the college football effect. You know what I mean? That is college football. Sun Belt football is college football. I'm on the over, and NC Nick's on the under. Folks, subscribe to the College Football Experience. Remember, we're on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. Give us a follow there. NC Nick's on Twitter at NC__NICK. I'm on Twitter at the Colby D. And we're breaking down all 133 college football teams with a solo podcast for each and every team in the land. We do this shit every year, but doing it for years. So check us out, subscribe. Once again, youtube.com/the college experience. Check out all of our other feeds as well. And get the SGPN app. It's free to download in the App Store and Google Play Store. Also, come talk college football with us. We talk, honestly, you could start talking Southeast Louisiana Lion football. You can start talking about New Mexico Highlands. We got it all covered here in the Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. All right, folks, until the next episode, this is the College Football Experience, Louisiana Ragin' Cajun style. You better start thinking about yours, and we out of here.